guys. Well, the fall weather lasted about a week, and now it's back up into the 90s this whole week. So I've been out here 20 minutes and I'm already sweating. So that means the shade cloth needs to go back on the tomatoes for a few days. They're doing really good though. Best looking tomatoes we've had all year. So while we're here in the vegetable garden, today has been a day that I've waited for 5 years. If you've been with me that long, you know I tried to grow habanada peppers 5 years ago and every year since. And the only success I had was the year we moved. And so the new owners of our old house probably got to enjoy those peppers. But I have been successful this year all the way through from seed and now to harvest. So I'm going to taste it for the first time and see if this was all worth it. Take a look. All the orange. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm not a hot pepper fan, but habanero peppers have a really good flavor, fruity flavor. But if you're not a hot pepper fan, then you don't get to enjoy it. That's where the habanada comes in. There's no heat, but the same fruity flavor, supposedly. So I got the orangest one in the bunch here. Ready? What if it's a habanero? It's good. Very sweet. Very fruity. No heat at all. Not one bit. I'm not one to sit and eat peppers, even like bell peppers, like red bell peppers, yellow, orange. That's good. So what we're going to do with these, I'm going to wait. I'm going to put these in the fridge. And we're going to wait about, I don't know, a few more days for a lot more of those to turn orange. A lot of them are like 50% there. And then we are going to make a habanada jelly. I'm going to pick some jalapenos for that, just to give this a little spice, because I want a little spice in the jelly, sweet spice. But that should be really good. So probably a week or so until that video comes out. But these are good. So while I'm complaining about the hot weather here, I really shouldn't be, because I've seen what you guys back east, southeast, I guess, are dealing with, the hurricane. And my heart goes out to you. I hope you guys are all okay. Those of you who are watching, who live there, although you may not be watching, you probably got other things to do. Sad and scary. I say it all the time, but our earthquakes, I don't know, I'd rather have earthquakes than tornadoes, hurricanes. Of course, not a big earthquake, just, you know, the normal kind. Anyway, prayers are with you guys. I hope that you made it through safe and are just kind of picking up. Hopefully you had minimal damage. Hang in there. Speaking of the hurricane, I just wanted to remind everybody, we have a fragile supply chain issue already. The hurricane is not going to help that, and neither is the port workers strike that started today, apparently. So without panic, maybe just head to the store, Costco, something, and just stock up on some of the basics. May not be necessary, but always better to be safe. So I have some sad news here, mixed with happy and exciting news that all starts with a funny story a few months ago. We were at an auction to raise money for Noah's school. They do it every year, and there's all kinds of things to be auctioned off. And so Emily went with the idea of getting, you know, a spa day, or, you know, I don't know what else, but there was a weekend getaway on there as well. So it's kind of fun to go and bid, and the excitement of the auction, and then what you might win while also supporting the school. Emily didn't quite get what she wanted. One of the items for auction was a chicken. But not just any chicken. The little brochure thing, auction thing, said it was the Lamborghini of chickens. So I feel like we have the Lamborghini of chicken coops. So shouldn't we have the Lamborghini of chickens to go with it? So the breed is an Ayam Cemani. It's an Indonesian breed. It is 100% black. We're talking about feathers, comb, feet, even the meat, which the thought of that on a plate, no. It lays kind of a pinkish brown egg, and so I was going to bid on that. And we did get into a little bit of a bidding war with someone else. Only one other person. But ultimately, we prevailed. And just, I don't know, a few days ago now, we brought... Well, first of all, I asked the person, because they're not cheap chickens, apparently, at all. And so I asked the breeder or whoever donated to the auction if I could possibly purchase a second one because, you know, it's easier to introduce 2 at a time versus 1. And they said, yeah, they'd throw that in, actually. So that was exciting. Well, we had to wait a few months. I wanted adult or more grown hens, so I didn't have to deal with incubating and, you know, a whole separate cage. So they arrived a few days ago, and the first day everything was fine. The second and third day, I noticed that there was a 3-month-old and a 4-month-old. And the 3-month-old didn't seem to be thriving like the 4-month-old. But I thought maybe it was just change of surroundings, maybe getting picked on, although I didn't see any evidence of that. And then yesterday, I went up in the morning to check on them, and I couldn't find the little one. And she was behind a piece of wood in there, like behind, and she was like making this snorting sound. Obviously something was wrong. So I picked her up, I brought her out. I wasn't sure if she was dehydrated, if maybe she was being kept away from the water. So Emily and I got a syringe with some electrolytes with water, and we're trying to put that down her throat. But unfortunately, it was too late. I've never had an animal die while I was holding it. She opened her eyes. She had her eyes closed most of the time. Opened them, and then closed them, and then I just kind of felt her get limp. So that was not fun at all. So I'm probably going to write the breeder and just let them know. They gave me 2. I was only supposed to get 1. So whether they replace it or not, that's not what I'm going for. I just want to let them know what happened. So that was sad. However, are you guys ready to meet the Lamborghini of chickens? Let's go. I'm hoping she's in the run where there'll be some light. This morning she was out in the run. And that's the first time I've seen her in the run. She's been in the hen house most of the time since she got here. Where is she? I'm going to go inside and see if I can run her out. The other chickens, lots of them are molting, so they may not look the greatest right now. Okay, she actually just let me pick her up. So there she is. See the black feet, black comb, eyes, beak, everything's black. Now, it's a little bit misleading because if you put her in the sun, she's got I'm hoping the camera's picking that up, an iridescent blues, greens, and purples. So this is the Lamborghini of chickens. Now she's going to get a lot bigger. She's probably only half the size right now. She'll get the same size as the others. Pretty cool, right? Now a spa day would have been gone by now, right? So now we have a chicken that's going to feed us eggs. It'll just be really fun to look at. All in all, I think it's a winner. The video that I did last weekend about my birthday, I cannot believe it is still growing and getting lots of views. We have 1,000 new subscribers from that video alone. So welcome to all of you. We also had over 1,000, maybe over 2,000, maybe more. I don't know. I didn't count them, but the comments were insane. So many comments. We have read, I think, every single one. We just haven't had the time to respond to that many. But know that every one of those comments just means so much. The amount of people who said that I changed their day, I changed their week. So many people said it was the best video I've ever done, which is kind of crazy to me because I've worked a lot harder on other videos. So maybe I just hit something. I don't know. I think just being able to relate to someone, that's a huge thing in today's day and age, because I think so much of social media is about putting your best look out there and hiding all of the things that you don't want people to see. I heard something sometime, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sure, but it's like, don't compare your cutting room floor to someone else's highlight reel. And I think that's so often what we see. I think in the homesteading world, in the gardening world, I think people put on almost a show, which is fine if that's the way they are doing their channel. There's obviously an audience for everyone, but I think, when you see someone getting great results all the time and never having an issue and looking like they have it all, there's something behind the scenes that they're not showing everybody. So just know that everyone has problems. Those problems always go away if you give it time. Be patient. Took me 20-something years to get through my problems, and I still have problems. You guys know I still deal with anxiety, but there's way more good days than bad days, and that was the whole point of that video, is when you're going through the bad times, don't focus on those things, because there are other good things going on at the same exact time in your life. Focus on those, because if you don't, you're going to wake up 20 years later and realize that that's what you should have done. And it is not easy. It is not easy. I didn't do it. I didn't know how to do it. And maybe I'll start to be able to relay to you how to go about that. I do think this type of video, or that type of video, is something we're going to keep doing on this channel, because it obviously helped so many people. And honestly, it was cathartic for me. I wrote out the whole video before I filmed it, because I knew I would not be able to keep everything straight and in order. And it was kind of like a healing process for me. When I was done writing it, I told Emily, I said, I'm exhausted. I was crying through it, looking through all the old pictures to be able to add some to the video. It was tough. But ultimately, coming out of that and then seeing how you guys responded, it was the best thing I've ever done. It was I feel so good now to not only be able to look back on all those years and realize that I made it through, that all those years actually meant something and I was supposed to go through those things, but then to be able to then pass that on to others. I wish, 15 years ago, I'd have had that video to watch. Got something in my hair, don't I? That is one of the exercises that I learned in therapy, is to go back and talk to your former self as yourself now. And that actually, just visualizing that, thinking about myself in some of those tough times, the hardest times that I've been through in those years, and going back and kind of telling them, what life is like now, and it's not always going to be that way, but telling myself that you do have to put in the work. You have to focus on something better, and you have to find a way to make it better. I think so many times we get caught up in our own self-pity that's where we live, and that's where we will continue to live until we change some things. So anyway, I think those are going to be coming. I had thought back, when we first got Daisy and I thought about milking her, I was thinking of having like a Milking Mondays video or something where we just kind of milk the cow and talk about life. So that might be the angle I take. I don't know that we'll wait the 8 more months till we have milk, but let me know what you guys think of all that. A few months back, when we built the hay box to store the hay down here, I had told you about this system that I was thinking of. A way to get the hay up the hill from down there at that gate where we would bring it in, all the way up this hill to the hay box. And I had someone ask on the last video how that went. It hasn't gone anywhere. I don't even have the roof for the hay box done, which I need to, because now that I'm stacking them too high, Daisy comes in here and helps herself to the hay, which can't happen. What we've been doing is actually still bringing it in the front gate, way up there, and then Noah and I bring them down one by one on a dolly. That's actually easier, even though it's a longer distance, than hoisting them up this hill. So first things first, I got to get the hay box lid done so that when the rain starts, it's not just going to pour off the roof onto the hay. And then we'll figure out a way to get it up the hill, or maybe implement the plan I talked about. So that's it for this video, you guys. Next week, I'm sure we'll be doing the jelly with the habanadas. So stay tuned for that. See you next time.